Hey everyone, welcome to From the Depths. I'm Menti, and this is episode 6 of the Squadron Shootout Season 2 tournament. In this episode, we have the Grey Legion by Doom Agent 13, with some astoundingly inspired name choices of fighter, battleship, cruiser, fleet carrier, and flying fortress. Oh, and frigate. So this is the frigate right here. And then I believe this is the cruiser. And then the battleship. And I guess this is the fleet carrier. It's a little hard to tell. They are very similar ships. And then we've got one of the fighters right here. And then the flying fortress. And then the other fighter. So yeah, that is the Grey Legion, which, living up to its name, it is a bunch of very gray ships. And then over here we have the I'm gonna butcher this. It's the KuK Kriegsmarine 3rd Cruiser Division, I believe, is what it is. And the names, yeah. So we have a battleship here. Or no. It's a heavy cruiser. Sorry, heavy cruiser. There are no battleships in this, but this is by the Canesian Emperor, who always makes very good-looking ships. These are definitely living up to that. And we've got some fighters up here, which, because of the mimics not spawning in, do not look very good. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and quickly do that, just to get the mimics to spawn in properly, so we can see how good these fighters actually look. Because otherwise they looked pretty awful. But I mean, they look awesome like this. This is pretty cool. And you got 3 fighters, a fleet carrier, and then some more. It's the same hull basically, but they're bombers instead of fighters. And then there's 5 of those, and another carrier, and 3 more fighters, and another heavy cruiser. So yeah, this should be an interesting fight. And we will see how it goes here shortly. I'm going to get the camera in position here and get those shells flying. Oh, right, I already did the escape thing, so... Okay, there we go. Sometimes getting the pause and unpause to work with the tournament mod is a little bit finicky. Oh, looks like we've got some flak bursts going off amongst the Kriegsmarine's fighters here. It's impossible to tell which one of those are fighters and which one of those are bombers once they start intermingling. Oh, this one seems to have taken some damage, maybe? Nope, it's just well, maybe. It's flying really strangely, but I can't tell if those are evasive maneuvers or if it took damage. These things are they are incredibly agile craft. They move around through the air like crazy. Oh, and one of them just hit the water. That is unfortunate. Wait, are they launching? Oh wait, no, these are the fighters on the right. Those are the fighters from the Grey Legion. For a second there, I thought those were the Kriegsmarine fighters launching missiles at their own ship. I was like, wait, what? So we've got a 2-damaged Kriegsmarine fighter here. Grey Legion ship's taking some Hesh rounds there. I think that's the battleship. Yeah, it's the battleship. It's firing crams. Another Kriegsmarine fighter down. This battleship seems to be standing up to the Hesh rounds okay. Like, its barrels are getting sheared off pretty bad. But it must have an air gap or something inside it stopping those Hesh... You know, a spall liner, basically, stopping those Hesh rounds from being as nasty as they could be. Kriegsmarine down to 88%. The Grey Legion, oh, was at 92, but then its Flying Fortress died. And I think it was despawned right here. It may have been like sinking. It may have been shot down and sinking. But the loss of that Flying Fortress is a big blow to the Grey Legion, HP wise. Oh wow! And this guy's popping a wheelie. Looks like it got hit in the rear and probably had an ammunition explosion. Yep, and that's a cruiser launching missiles. Targeting the battleship. We've got the frigate skimming across the water here, but it looks like its gun's been destroyed, so that's unfortunate. So all those flak explosions trying to shoot down those dodgy Kriegsmarines fighters. I think this is, yeah, that's the battleship of the Grey Legion, is really low in the water. If it loses much more in the way of buoyancy, it could very well get an 80% in sinking. Ooh, looks like this fighter right here just had, yep. I think that flak explosion nearby just ripped off its wings and it is done. It is going down. One of its heavy cruisers is also not doing so well. Is it this one over here? Down to 57%, is about to despawn. That would be a massive blow for the Kriegsmarine if they lose this ship. It is still fighting though. Seems to have lost its main guns, however. It has this the smaller gun firing. Its aircraft carrier over here is getting hit as well. I don't think these actually have any weapons on them. No, like, actual functional weapons. It's a bunch of aesthetic ones, but nothing functional. Oh, and it looks like the what is that? Oh, that's one of the other carriers is now AI dead and despawning. Oh, that is a huge blow for the Kriegsmarine. Or a huge blow for the Grey Legion to the Kriegsmarine. Oh, and another fighter gets flaked. Down it goes. That is the downside of making your ship out of so many mimics, is flak can kind of easily tear them apart. This little ship here is just kind of sailing alongside the enemy heavy cruiser. That big old flak rounds. Grey Legion at 73%. The Kriegsmarine at 53%. And this cruiser is badly hurt. I'm not sure what happened to the other cruiser. Oh, well, we already saw that one. So, oh, but there it is. That's an 80% in sinking battleship for the Grey Legion. So that's going to be a massive hit point loss. Suddenly the Grey Legion is down to 38%. Oh, but the heavy cruiser for the Kriegsmarine also going down. This is a very close fight. I think, yeah, it looks like the Grey Legion is going to have the upper hand for now. But, oh wait, the other heavy cruiser is still alive. I thought it died, but no, it's still very much alive. One of its fleet carriers is over here taking missile fire from this cruiser. The cruiser has lost its gun, however. And it looks like the Grey Legion has taken control of the skies. Well, and then its fighter just kind of takes a little break in the water, uses a balloon to get back out, and away it goes. And back into the water. Just slowly plinking away with these missiles. But if this heavy cruiser can keep itself alive and sink a few more enemy ships, like this cruiser, or this is not the cruiser, I think this is the fleet carrier. It might be able to pull this off. Because there isn't a whole lot left on the Grey Legion that can do much to that heavy cruiser. Oh, the frigate is upside down. It has capsized. But its weapon's been destroyed for a while, so it hasn't been doing much of anything. But still, killing it would reduce that HP count. This heavy cruiser is badly beaten up. Oh, it looks like the carrier over here has gone 80% in sinking from probably from the constant barrage of missiles from that cruiser. Cruiser's gonna have to get turned around now, though, because it's too far away, and it's kind of fleeing the battle at the moment. So it's gonna be getting some DQ time, but it should be able to swing around and get back into the fight. Yeah, it's already stopped losing its DQ time, or gaining DQ time. It is launching missiles at the enemy heavy cruiser. Not quite able to hit just yet. Things are not looking good for the Kriegsmarine right now. One of its most powerful ships is still functional and still fighting, but is it going to be able to make up that 20% health deficit, you know, in the next 7 minutes? The missiles from the fighters aren't really doing anything to it, but once that cruiser gets its missiles in range, I think those will actually hurt. And they are almost there. The next volley might very well make it. It's kind of funny watching them come in. They're just barely not having enough fuel right now. And the heavy cruiser is sailing right into the enemy missile barrage. Oh, but it did manage to take down the fleet carrier over here. So that fleet carrier is going to despawn, and that is going to make up some of the HP deficit. But now it's taking hits from weapons that can actually... Now the heavy cruiser is actually taking hits that can actually damage it, is what I'm trying to say. And that cruiser is just a constant barrage. It never stops firing missiles. It's a pretty solid, some pretty solid DPS from the missile cruiser, and there we go. The heavy cruiser is 2 damaged and going to despawn, so it looks like round 1 is going to the Grey Legion. So let's go ahead and get this restarted, and we will get round 2 underway as soon as the game will let me. Takes a minute with these bigger fleet battles. Alright, and away we go for round 2. Yeah, that missile cruiser is actually does some impressive damage. So it's got a constant rate of fire of missiles. A whole bunch of shells just raining in. Oh, what the? This is the fleet carrier. Has decided to do a handstand. Grey Legion's battleship there taking some hits. Fleet carrier has done a backflip. Ooh. The Grey Legion's frigate got kind of rocked by an explosion there, it looked like. But it got pushed under the water, but it's coming back up. And it's going to be moving quickly atop the water there. But there goes its gun. Those Hesh rounds made quick work of that. Looks like we've got an 80% in sinking fighter over there. Or no. No, that was the Flying Fortress. That was the Grey Legion's Flying Fortress dying again. That thing did not live long. Oh, what? The heavy cruiser from the Kriegsmarine is AI dead. Is it going to be able to repair that AI? If it doesn't, that is going to be a huge blow. And that is it. That heavy cruiser getting AI deaded by a cramshell from the enemy battleship. That is an absolutely devastating blow to the Kriegsmarine. But I think the Grey Legion's primary AA was the fleet carrier, and for some reason it decided to do a backflip this match. And now the fighters and bombers of the Kriegsmarine are not getting shot down like they were in the first round. Man, what a critical hit! AI deading that enemy heavy cruiser this soon into the battle. That battleship is just getting absolutely swarmed by aircraft. And I mean, what's it gonna do? Yeah, this poor fleet carrier just flipping right over at the beginning of the battle. Oh, the battleship is getting awfully low. Yeah, it's actually gaining DQ time, but it isn't 80% health yet, so it's not getting an 80% sinking despawn, but it is sinking too much, which will get it disqualified if it can't fix that and get some altitude back. The frigate's just kind of sailing around the enemy ships, not really able to do anything because it lost its gun pretty much immediately in the battle. Oh, is it going to ram the enemy carrier? I think it's going in for a ram, and it actually has rams on the front. Oh, this is going to be nasty. Bam! Oh! Uh-oh. Oh! Well, it was definitely nasty to both ships. The frigate destroyed itself, but wow, it ripped huge holes in the enemy carrier. Oh, and now the heavy cruiser got shoved backwards by an explosion and ran into the carrier, and now the carrier is 80% in sinking. Oh man. Yep, and there it goes. So, I mean, all in all, I'd say that was a pretty successful ram by the frigate, even though it kind of got itself killed in the process. Oh, and that heavy cruiser is now 2 damaged. The missile barrage from the cruiser, the Grey Legion's cruiser, is just too much. Doggo agrees, apparently. Or disagrees, it's hard to tell. Hey! But there that heavy cruiser goes, which means the only things that are left are, like, fighters. Just aircraft. Which I don't know if the cruiser's missiles are going to be able to hit. Missiles are going to have a very hard time hitting these very agile, dodgy fighters. You're only really going to get them with explosives, flak and HE, and maybe airburst frag. I don't think you're gonna be able to score direct hits on these things with much, you know, with any consistency. This one seems to have taken some damage though, and is trying so hard to keep control, but not doing great at it. These missiles just keep, like, they can't decide who to attack. Oh, are they engaged in a dogfight over here? Yeah, that's what's going on over here. That fighter that was spinning out and losing control, that's actually one of the, that's the Grey Legion's fighter. And, oh, that is a collision, which worked out in the favor of the Grey Legion's fighter, because the Kriegsmarines kind of blew up. Oh, and I'm not sure what happened there. I think its friend may have just missiled it. I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like a fighter over here did actually manage to get hit by a missile. If the missile does hit, those fighters are all sorts of dead. But as you can see, the missiles are not having the best of luck with that. They're trying real hard. Oh, that was a hit straight to the nose. But it looks like the fighter survived that. Oh, not that one. No, that one got it. So yeah, it does look like the cruiser's missiles are able to slowly but surely work on the Kriegsmarine's fighters. Grey Legion's fighter over here, staying alive. It killed an opponent by ramming. Yeah, there's only two fighters left. I think those might actually be bombers. If they're bombers, yeah, they're bombers. If they're still firing their dropping their payload, which they are. Well, that looks like a pretty big old bomb there. Probably a magnet. Yep, it is getting magnetized over to that fleet carrier. It's just slowly bobbing its... Oh, it ran out of lifetime before it could reach the carrier. That's unfortunate. Oh, that one will get there. Maybe. If it doesn't spend all of its lifetime up in the air. It's going the wrong way. Where is it going? I think it went after the fighter. Now it might not make it there. Oh, that's gonna make it. Blam! That did less damage than I was expecting. That was less impressive than I was making it out like it was going to be. Where is the... Oh! The cruiser and the fighter died somehow. They probably got DQ'd? I didn't even notice. I was watching these things, so... It's 12.5% to 1.1%, so these bombers would have to kill the fleet carrier to win this round. And those bombs aren't particularly effective. But they could get an 80% in sinking, so... Like, as, yeah, these things are magnetizing... Oh! You know what? I think that bomber just bombed itself. It had to have. There's nothing else on the field that could have hurt it. The fleet carrier certainly didn't shoot it from under the water. I don't even think the guns can angle. Oh, wait, yes, they can. Oh, it's leaning, so it can actually... So those were the flak guns. That fleet carrier coming in with the clutch capsized shooting down of the enemy aircraft. Oh man! And to think, I counted that thing out at the beginning of the battle when it did its backflip, and there it is, winning the fight for the entire Grey Legion. But alright folks, that's going to be the end of this battle. The Kriegsmarine unfortunately has been defeated and will be going down to the loser's bracket, while the Grey Legion will be continuing on to the next round. Thanks for watching folks, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you on the battlefield.